Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I've been thinking a little bit about what's going on with the Russell Westbrook situation, and I haven't read the article that's floating around. I didn't even know there was an article, so I'd love to read that. But for the time being, with the information I have, I'm just reacting to it a little further, and what I'm gathering is just my theory is intact. I believe guys are putting pressure on the front office, or either front office, the Brooklyn Nets or the Lakers or whoever would be willing to make the move with the Lakers. It's pressure to get a deal done. That's the bottom line. We're trying to get the deal done. So I really do believe guys are kicking up dust and trying to, you know, force the Laker hand. Now, I think the idea is this, and I'm listening to LeBron fans, and I get them completely. They're about their timeline. They need to win right now, and we have crossed the threshold of putting them in a position to effectively land in a winning situation this season. We don't know how many seasons LeBron has left, so he has to make it work with LA. So from their point of view, F them picks, and I legitimately get that, because if you was going to value the picks, you should have let go of Bron. You can't have both. That's where the Lakers have found themselves trying to hold on to a little too much. And I think that's ultimately what it is. You want to effectively have an out and effectively have LeBron, and you can't have both. So now this forces us to give up both picks. And everybody knows we don't really have much to give up but those picks. And I think the only people who want to hold on to the picks is us, the front office, the Lakers organization. LeBron fans, the Brooklyn fans, and the rest of the league, everybody wants us to let them damn picks go, honestly. And that's what I was saying. It would make the whole league happy if we just gave up 27 and 29, and we have to ask ourselves if holding on to those picks actually makes life harder, since we're being ornery with letting go of our win now timeline. It's like everybody with a win now timeline is going all in. If you look around, it's a lot of teams that don't have picks, and they're trying to win. And we're trying to teeter that balance between keeping those picks and holding on to this two, not one, but two win now superstars like Anthony Davis and LeBron James. So it's like the teams who are holding on to picks need those picks so that they can find a way to get LeBron, to get AD. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's the balance of the league. That's the intention of picks, is so that talent can go in places where it's otherwise needed. In theory, we actually should not need that talent because of the presence of these superstars. That's what their contracts are supposed to represent. Do you see what I'm saying? So if I'm to look at it that way, then I say I understand why people want us to let go of those picks for the sake of the balance of things, since the market is so screwed. I get that. But what I'll also say is, with respect to the field, maybe the Lakers don't necessarily know how best to value what it is we have based on the ever fluctuating value of these superstars that keep getting traded back and forth. How do we know if we need these picks or not? How do we know if we don't turn around and try to trade AD and we not get nothing back for him, or try to turn around and trade LeBron James and ultimately have it backfire in that way as well? We're not certain. So from the front office standpoint, I look at everybody and I say, you want the Lakers to cripple themselves or give up a very close opportunity at a championship, and I'm saying that we don't have to do that. So without the pressure of y'all forcing us to do that, we don't have to. The picks and the players can both stay in the same spot, and we should be able to acquire Kyrie Irving without that problem. Given the fact that $47 million is coming off the books next summer for anybody who acquires Russell Westbrook, his value and him not playing well and all that crap is irrelevant, because wherever he's going to land is probably going to get bought out anyway, regardless if he was playing well or not. So that part is trash. That's bogus. That's fake leverage. His value in terms of what he's going to do next season is fake leverage, because there's nobody that he's going to be playing for that's going to be willing to acquire that contract that has any intention of actually playing him for any good amount of time. I'm telling you, they know that. I know that. And so the value of his contract is not what they say it is. Now, at this point, because he's asked out, the question is, are the Lakers going to give up those two picks in order to get rid of him? Because that's essentially what they've been backed in corner to do. Now, I don't know what's wise in that situation. I really don't. I would need more information about what they're looking at, what's behind the scenes to actually know what's wise to do. But what I can tell you is it's going to be very difficult to move that contract without giving up those damn picks at this point, unless you want to throw in players that we have no intention of giving up. That's what happens when you get back into a corner by an entire market that wants to crush you. That's basically what it is. It's us against the world, as far as I can tell. I wouldn't be surprised if certain things were done just to block certain things that we have in place. Try to keep LeBron James and the Lakers from collaborating on yet another championship. I wouldn't be surprised. But whatever the case may be, I think the Lakers just need to continue on the mission they're on, because a lot of this is just noise. When you look at it, it's chaos. But when you block it out, the same things are on the table. The same things are on the table. Him not having any value because of his trade demand is also fake leverage. Why? Because he didn't have any value to begin with if you listen to the field. Listen to the field. How far could his value actually fall? Think about it. It was in the toilet. Skip Bayless talks about this man every day, and he's attached to one of the most expensive contracts in the world. The only thing that it remotely has that holds value is the notion that you can get rid of it next year. And for a lot of these teams, that's all it's about. Again, they're not going to play him at all. Anybody that wants that contract has that in mind. I know that. So all the teams that are sitting back saying, oh, Russell Westbrook ain't worth it, all these things, they are not going to even ask for him. They don't have any purpose for him, what his contract actually is. So look, again, all of this looks bad. Him demanding out, it appears bad because fake leverage is real leverage if nobody knows it. That's the point. But if you know what you have and you know what it is, and you ain't listening to none of that noise, you don't care about Russell Westbrook and his nonsense and all this stuff about people. You can have Russell Westbrook in hand with what he represents, which is $47 million coming off the cap next season. And you got your picks in hand. And if people want to give you what the value of those picks are, you give it to them. But you don't let them tell you what the value of Russell Westbrook is, because that's basically what they've been trying to do the entire time. And I'm telling you, that's probably what all this is about. So no, I'm not doing that. Russell, you're going to get traded. You don't have to demand a trade out. You know what I'm saying? That you're getting traded. The question is will we be able to? And forcing us to give up what we don't want to give up, I don't necessarily think it's actually forcing us to do anything. They're just going to look at you and say, okay, fix your problem. We'll trade you when we can. Just like what Brooklyn's doing with KD. We're going to do the same thing with you. Nobody cares. You want out? We want you out. So sit tight, relax, and just prepare to not play next season. That's the most important thing you need to understand. Your agent was telling you right. You should have been trying to stay in LA. Why? Because it's the only place you're going to be playing next year. If you actually have an opportunity to be on our team, we're going to run you. Because I don't think Genie's going to want to buy that out. But the Pacers, they're buying that out. Spurs, they're buying that out. Utah, they're buying that out. You're not playing. Don't you get that? And as bad as you look last year, you're going to be lucky to find a fit. Seriously. So this is not a situation. We start talking about the value of the player, he's going to have to redeem himself. And then from that, it's going to be about whether or not people want to put him on the team and whether or not he's going to have the willingness to come back and be that player he was in Washington. As far as we could tell, last we checked, that guy was gone. So he's, all this demand out. Demand where? Like, brother, I don't think you have a spot in this league. Where you going? You have to retire. And that's the reality that he's going to have to accept on his own, man. Now, I've come to his defense and all these different things, but reality's reality, man. And this is a situation where I really believe Russell Westbrook's just going to have to probably sit out the whole season no matter where he lands. Because if it's a win-now situation, they're not going to want him to play based on what they saw. And if it's a situation with a bunch of kids, they're not going to want him to play based on what they saw. I'm trying to tell you. So I don't know what is going on there, but him demanding out to where? And that's what his agent was probably trying to explain to him. But whatever. Self-awareness is so important, man. I really, really hope that he can find what he's looking for in this world, in this league, man. Because, God, I can't seem to understand how he projects so much this denial, like real deep denial. He projects so much of that through his image and how he's moving in all this situation. It's like, brother, I don't know that you have a spot right now in this league. You know, I really don't know that. Based on what we saw, I don't know that. So he should be wanting to stay with the Lakers. He really should. But whatever, whatever. He got his money, so that's what the blessing is in the situation. You get your check. Because a lot of them didn't. So that's just what it is, man. And as far as everything else, I'm just looking at the whole situation. I hope the Lakers are now able to effectively move him. If they have to give up both picks, that's what they're for. At the end of the day, that's what the picks are for. They're supposed to get you out of a bad situation. Now, was this situation supposed to get this bad? No. And based on how you play it will determine what you give up. True. But if you're trying to expedite this process, it's probably going to cost us the picks. Now, if y'all want to wait around and just basically give him the finger on his trade request, that's cool. But he'll probably end up staying for the rest of the season. Because what ends up happening is at the trade deadline, people don't know if he's going to cause a ruckus. You know, unless they have a specific target for that $47 million, they're probably going to be less likely to want to bring him in to even go through the process. So, you know, then you start going back to the table with LeBron James and you figure, okay, Bron, are you staying or leaving? And he's going to be like, you still got them picks, don't you? You see I'm about to play with Kyrie today in Drew League. What you think I want you to do? It's very clear what I want you to do. So then you end up giving the 2 picks. So that's how I deduce the situation. You can stand on this, you know what I mean, and try to negotiate your way around it. But the field is going to keep pressuring you to give them up. That's what I see coming. It's just they're going to keep pressuring it. So the question is are you going to hold that value of Westbrook's contract, continue to shop it, and will any of these people bite? It's just about will they bite. So at this point, they probably going to look at that fake value of his value being down based on the trade request and try to keep it. No, Lakers, you're going to do this, and that. So you can try to wait it out, but they're gonna hold that going. You know why? Skip. That's why. It's never gonna get outside of anyone's mind about anything because he's gonna say Russell Westbrook's name 6 or 7 times a segment, no matter what during this process. So that's why they're gonna continue to keep it. It's gonna drag out, and it'll probably drag into the season because of it. I'm just playing in my head the way I see it. That's gonna keep that value even lower. You know Russell wants out. You know Russell wants out. God, yeah, I can hear the headlines now. So at this point, it's like, all right, if you want to play hardball, you probably win in the end. But what is your definition of win? Because Bron gonna be looking at you like I want out. Now, the win in my mind is reciprocating the value of all such things. But the problem is, it doesn't leave you with a championship no time soon. So you don't want my definition of win in this situation. What you want is what Bron wants, which is to win a championship right now. So I suggest you do whatever you need to do to make that happen in a timely fashion. That's what I would suggest if I were talking to the Laker front office organization, think tape, the voting booth committee, whatever the heck. Please, guys, get this right. Get this right or we're going to fall really, really, really hard. And it's going to take some time to get out from underneath the situation. Because I promise you piss Bron off, he's going to make sure we don't get a whole lot for him. He's going to make sure of it. You know he can do it. All he has to simply say is, I want to play with those guys, and I want to make sure my team has equity when I get there. It's like, oh, my God. Nobody will be willing to trade for him, and he will walk. I know what I'm talking about. Think about how much that costs. 2 picks, 3 picks, 4. How much is that worth to you? My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.